So we're back as promised with the second video in the series. The first video was an overview of the admin dashboard and what features are involved. In this video, I'm going to go into a little bit of depth on how to manage your clients and how to onboard new clients. And if you've never used software to manage your business before, you're probably wondering, what is he on about, onboarding new clients? So when a client contacts you either via phone or WhatsApp or email with an inquiry, to quote that customer, generally you will ask them for some basic information, their name, contact details and their address. So in that instance, you've onboarded a new client, whether they give it you over the phone and you write it down, or they send it you in an email or in a WhatsApp. You're then onboarding that client. You're just not organising the data very well. So what this portal allows for you to do is add all your clients' details into a database right away at onboarding. So in the future, when you generate quotes or invoices or projects within the portal, you can then select the client and the client's details will be auto-filled. If you decide to give the client access to the client portal, they can change their profile details there, or you can change them in the admin dashboard as well. So this is the clients section. There's 3 tabs. This is where you're going to view all of your clients. They're going to be loaded from the database, as I mentioned. For the purpose of this video, I've created some temporary clients at different stages of onboarding and with different statuses. So I'll explain the statuses and I'll explain what's going on with each of these clients. So first of all, just a general overlay and what's going on. So you've got some statistics at the top. You can just minimize them just to get them out of the way. That's just going to show you some information about the clients page. So we're in the All Clients tab. You can search for clients by beginning to type the client's name in the search field. So it will filter by clients. You can filter by status. Active status means the client has access to the client's dashboard. Suspended means they were given access originally, but the access has been revoked. Inactive means they've never been given access to the client dashboard, they cannot log in at all. And pending approval is a status that's given to self-sign-up clients when they sign up through the sign-up page. So they will receive a welcome email, it will have a link to verify their email address. They will not be able to sign into the portal until they've verified that email address, and that is indicated here in this status. So this particular client has not verified their email address. This particular client has verified their email address. They've logged into the portal and they've completed their profile information. This client, as you can see, their email verification is pending. They've not completed their profile and they've still not been approved by admin. So pending approval is an indication to admin that this client needs attention. So when clients sign up through the sign up form, they're given access to the dashboard because they need to complete their profile information and they can submit quote requests from there. They will need to verify their email address before access is approved, and that's what this indicates, this status. So because they've self-signed up, the admin needs to approve this client as a genuine client. The admin can do this by clicking into the client's information and checking the client's information is genuine. If this is a genuine client, if the information all checks out, or if maybe the admin contacts the client and speaks to them, then the admin can go ahead and approve this account just by clicking this button here at the top. Once they've been approved, they'll have full access to the client portal. They'll be able to see their quotes, their invoices, their job reports, any projects that are ongoing or completed. So before they've been approved, they cannot see any quotes, they cannot see any invoices, they cannot see any job reports or projects. They can only complete their profile and submit a quote request. So that's all the statuses. As you can see, these clients have all got different statuses. If we click on the first client, as you can see, they're active, which means they have client access. They're an individual, which means they're not a business client, they're just a general public client. You can see the indication that they were self-sign up, their email address is verified, their profile is complete. You can see their profile information, contact information, personal information, billing address, service address, preferences, timeline and history. This is going to show you all of the events for this particular client, when their first sign up was, when they completed their profile, when they verified their email address, even when their last sign in was. So any projects assigned to this client will appear in this projects tab. Again, same with the quotes and invoices and job reports. You can suspend this client's access to the client dashboard here by suspending access. Now they're suspended, now they can't log in. When they go to log in, they will be notified that their account's been suspended. We can restore access. That should reflect in the timeline. As you can see, we just suspended it and we've just restored it. We can edit the client's information using the client edit dialog. So the client's profile information, we can change that at any time and save it. The client can also change their profile information in the client dashboard if they've been given access. Going back to the list of clients and different statuses. So again, this one here has been suspended. It's a complete profile, the email is verified. This one was created by admin. This is a business client. All the client's details, again, we can see. We can edit this client. We can restore this client's access. We can filter by client type, business clients and individual clients. We can sort by newest, oldest, alphabetical order from A to Z and from Z to A. We can filter by account manager, which will show the clients that are assigned to the particular admin that's currently signed in. So we're currently signed in as Adrian Sutty. So Adrian's clients, if we click on my clients, are Colette Ashby. And we can confirm this by clicking on the client, and we can see here the account manager for this client is Adrian Sutty. And this is useful if you have multiple admins that all manage different clients. We can filter by incomplete profiles. So these two profiles are incomplete. This particular user has dashboard access and their email is verified so they can log in. They just haven't completed their profile yet. Admin can do that just by going to the edit dialog and filling in the client's profile information, or the client can do that themselves in the client dashboard. As I said, they've got access so they can sign in. This client also has an incomplete profile. Currently their email address is not verified, so they cannot sign in. They would have to verify their email address before they can sign into the client dashboard. Once they've completed their profile, the admin would then need to approve this client. So admins would not be approving clients until profiles are complete. Also, it's worth noting that incomplete profiles will be excluded from any client lists. So when you're creating quotes and invoices and projects, which I'll show you in future videos, You can create quotes for clients by selecting the clients from a drop down, and the client's details will be auto-filled. If the client's profile is incomplete, they will be excluded from the client list. Another useful one is to view your clients vertically like this, or you can view them in a grid. We can export our clients. If you want to import your clients into Xero or QuickBooks or Sage, you can export CSV files, and this is where you do that. You can also export your invoices. The option that we just selected is here. You can also get there in the top corner next to settings in data export. That takes you to the same page. You can export your invoices, as I say, and your client list. So that's an overview of your clients once they're in the onboarding process. There's 3 ways of onboarding new clients. There is 2 ways here. This is these 2 tabs in the admin dashboard. And the third way is the client self sign-up route. So I'll show you the third one in a future video. I'll show you the other 2 here. So inside the Create Client tab, this is your onboarding form to onboard new clients. So the client ID will be auto-generated. It's sequential, you don't need to change that. If it's a business client, then toggle this on. You'll have to enter the client's business name, the VAT registration number if it's available, and company registration number if it's available. If it's not a business client, just the client's details, general information. Client's contact information, if you do give them portal access, their sign-in email will be the primary email that you apply to this account. Address and billing. So the client's billing address, this will be applied to any invoices that are generated for this client in the future. The client's service address may not be the same as the billing address. If it is, just leave this checked. If it isn't, uncheck it and enter the client's service address. Some contact preferences and admin settings. These are important settings. This is where you give the client access to the client dashboard or not. So the default is active. That means the client gets access to the client dashboard. Down here in account setup options, this is where you generate the login password. This option sends the client a welcome email with the login details, and this option is to require email verification before the client can access the client portal. So if you know this client and you've communicated with the client before and you know the email address is genuine, then you don't necessarily have to leave this checked. This prevents the user from needing to do a full cycle of verifying their email address. So it saves the client a little bit of time if you can self-verify that the email address is genuine. If you don't want to give the client portal access, then change this option to inactive. When you do, you'll notice that the account setup options are disabled and you'll be notified that the client will not receive a welcome email with login details and they will not have client portal access. You can add some administration notes, and when all the fields are complete, you can create your client. Once your client is created, you can navigate back to all clients and you should see your client appear in the list here. So that's the first way of onboarding a new client. It's quite long-winded. It gathers all the information, all the details of the client, and it means that admin has to fill that information themselves. The second option is a lot faster, and what this option does is allows your admin to delegate the onboarding process to the client. So it basically mirrors the client's self-sign-up, but instead of the client signing up themselves, the admin can sign them up from this form here. So what this will do, you just enter the client's name, their email address, and generate them a password. Once you register the client will receive an email with their login details. On their first login, they will be prompted to change the password to a private password, and then they will be given access to the client dashboard. They can then log into the portal and they can complete their profile. As I say, this allows the admin to delegate the onboarding process to the client. So it saves the admin a lot of time. They can just register the client can then, in their own time, fill in their profile information and request a quote directly from the client dashboard. Or the admin can generate a project from the admin dashboard once the client's profile has been completed. So I'll show you the client self sign up form in a future video. Hopefully that covers everything in the client section. The next video in the series will be creating a project and assigning a client to the project. So stay tuned for that one.